Stocks suffered their worst day this month as fears of a trade war drove investments down. The Dow, the Nasdaq, and S&P 500 were all down. The Dow Jones Industrial slid 328 points to 24,253, its lowest close since early May. The Nasdaq fell 161 points to 7532, and the S&P 500 index lost 37 points to close at 2717. Now, one casualty is an American industrial icon, Harley Davidson Motorcycles. As CBS 2 political reporter Derrick Blakley reports, the Milwaukee Motor Company is doing the once unthinkable, shipping some production from its famous retro bikes overseas.
At Cycletech and Suburban Summit, they repair all kinds of bikes, but freely acknowledge the aura of a Harley. What made Harley so special for all those years?
Call it a mistake. You own a Harley, you own a Harley. If you own one of these other ones, well, you own a motorcycle, but it's not a Harley.
The Harley brand is as American as mom and apple pie, which is partly why the Europeans made it a target for tariffs. Now, Harley's responded by moving a big chunk of production to Europe.
They actually hope to make up some of the weakness they're seeing in the U.S. market by selling more of these vehicles abroad. Well, you can't do that, of course, if you're getting a big tariff on them.
It's the latest reaction in a trade war touched off by President Trump when he slapped tariffs on foreign steel. The object was to protect American steel workers. But now it will cost the jobs of American Harley workers who made the bikes that will now be made in Europe.
I liken trade wars to a bad divorce. Really, nobody wins. People start, cutting off their nose to spite their face, and you end up with a lose-lose situation.
But the White House said this afternoon President Trump has no intention of backing down despite the European tariffs.
The European Union is attempting to punish U.S. workers with unfair and discriminatory trade policies, and President Trump will continue to push for free, fair, and reciprocal trade in hopes that the EU will join us in that.
Ironically, Harley Davidson benefited mightily when the U.S. slapped tariffs on Japanese motorcycles back in the 1980s. In fact, some credited that move with saving the company, leading to a big comeback in the 1990s when Harley sold bikes literally faster than they could make them. Rob and Erica, President Trump won't have long to gauge reaction. He will be in Wisconsin on Wednesday for the opening of that giant Foxconn factory.
If it happens to Harley Davidson, right?
Well, the fear is that other industrial giants could be in the crosshairs of the Europeans. We have some big exporters here in Illinois. Caterpillar, you think about John Deere Company. Those workers could wind up suffering if the trade war winds up at their doorstep.
Okay. Thanks, Derrick.